Welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I'm joined once again by my buddy through the miracle of computer phone by Jon Burr. Jon, NBA championship episode. Congrats to the Denver Nuggets. How are you doing?
I wish I could say blissful.
Yeah.
A titan of our sport has rightfully ascended. He has ridden his own horse-drawn carriage to the promised land. I was really pleased.
That's who we're talking.
I mean, you could pick.
I couldn't.
Nugget.
I couldn't wait to get my Ish Smith reference in. Sorry. Yeah.
You can pick a nugget. The number of champions that you didn't think you'd be uttering aloud.
The entire 2019 Pistons squad.
Were you ready for crucial cog Aaron Gordon? I wasn't.
Dude, Aaron Gordon became the latest Iguodala. Andrew Wiggins, just, main guy on bad team becomes third, fourth fiddle on great team.
Do you remember we used to watch Aaron Gordon heave threes for the Magic?
That was gross.
It was gross. Who knew that putting the dunk contest guy in the dunker position was a good move? Who knew?
But you're saying your bliss is there's a power to it?
So I will always, for a variety of reasons, one of which we'll get to in our cream of wheat, worst of the week. But for the main reason, I basically spent this game in a form of like my own self-created traction. Missed the entire first half. Spent the second half with my feet against one door jamb and my back against another, trying to relieve the pressure in my back because I injured my back doing things that old people shouldn't do.
Intercourse?
There it is. No, it was actually pickleball.
Oh, no.
Like some sort of nerve injury where I now know what a nerve cluster is because I can feel it.
Yeah.
Like it's like a little nucleus of
energy. I was briefly thrown off by the term traction that began that, but you mean laid up hospital style.
I was just trying to create a position where like
the pressure was off
Yes. I ended up in this weird space of the reason I missed the first half was I'm just watching YouTube, I guess, chiropractors. And it's like, and it was people teaching you stretches.
Yeah.
Or hitting you with a ball peen hammer. This is basically somehow like somewhere on the spectrum of like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah.
Except there's like a dashes of Scientology thrown in somehow. I think chiropractor stuff is like kind of pseudoscience, but I was desperate.
Yeah, sure.
And some of it did provide relief, but I spent I liken it to Larry Bird laying down on the sideline during the game.
Gotcha.
That's how I saw myself. Because
Steve Nash laying down baseline.
I came back. Yeah, Steve Kerr style too. Yeah, I came back. Willis.
When he was coach. Yeah,
for the second half. To support my squad. It was like an ugly game, but also a great game.
Oh, it was a ideal game.
I for a while there, I was really, my mind was blown. Like, how were the Nuggets going to win this game? Like, it seemed like they were doing everything they could to not win for so long.
Oh, there's a lot of stats where teams don't ever win with the stats the Nuggets had. I mean, they shot 51. They hit 51% of their free throws.
Yeah, hit like 1 3 in the first half.
18% of their 3-pointers. Yeah.
It just wasn't, it just seemed like we were getting another game, which I was fine with. I enjoyed both of these teams. I couldn't lose, as we said. Kind of the only outcome that I find loathsome did happen. But we'll get to that later.
Okay. Pickleball, by the way.
Yeah.
I think you're aware. This is the preferred leisure hobby activity of NBA referees. NBA referees obsessed with pickleball. Scott Foster might be world ranked.
I have faced so many Scott Foster-esque people I consider myself a septuagenarian bully, particularly because I am doughy soft, particularly around the midsection. But in the end, I am 40, so I shouldn't even be playing. I should be playing this in like 20 years from now, but can't really move very well anymore, and it keeps the blood flowing. So I pretend that I'm not competitive, and then I just try to hit 70-year-olds with a pickleball all the time, and that's my finishing maneuver. Is to
that's your strategy, is just whale it right at them.
I'm trying to bring up welts. Visible welts.
So I'm also very, very competitive.
By the way, this is the sport for you because it is length. It's lanky.
I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, I'd be good at that. I played tennis one time in my life, and I might have told this story sometime in the 9 years of this show, but it's okay. We'll go back to it. Played tennis one time in my life with my like college girlfriend, who was like a high school tennis player. And
you got smoked then.
I didn't really know what I was doing. No. So here's what happened. We played we played like 5 sets or whatever, or best out of 5. First set, got smoked, just smoked. Second set, I started learning some stuff. Okay. I started charging the net every single time. And so I'm gonna guess in high school tennis, not a lot of 6'4" opponents she had.
For women, I'm gonna go with 0.
Who would just run to the net every time, so she could hit it. Like she could hit the shot where she wanted. She wasn't accustomed to someone running up to the net.
Yeah, she didn't know she was up against Penis Williams.
Yes, so I started trying real hard. Then, so I want to say I was down 2 sets to two love. On those sets, I started fighting back. I started charging the net, and then I learned this second strategy. I'm just gonna hit it at her. I can't try to hit it into a corner. I can't try to angle it. I tried to volley and whale it directly at her every single time. Ended up winning the match. We never played again.
Brother, so. You win not only the game of tennis, it's a psychological battle. Once you have beamed Scott Foster 3 times in the groin, he's not the same player.
It was like, are you trying to hit it at me? It's like, well, you're on the court, right? I was like, is that legal?
As you can imagine,
that's what I'm trying to do.
I am talking the entire pickle match, and I'm telling them they're getting beamed. And these are and also this is almost always strangers. So imagine playing a person who's 30 years younger than you, looks like Mrs. Doubtfire, and is telling you repeatedly you are getting beamed. Because it's a little plastic wiffle ball. I don't feel bad. I'm not doing any damage.
I gotta know, man.
It is a massive psychological advantage. But I end up laying on the side of the court, missing at least the first quarter. I was going to watch the game with Chuck because although that's probably for the best because I don't know. You've never seen Chuck during the playoffs, but it is.
I don't know how
legitimately frightening.
We're not even related to Chuck or any Heat fan, just a sports fan. I don't know how to deal with that if that was my team. Like to be in a game like that.
The ending was grotesque.
Jimmy Butler was awful until he wasn't.
Yeah. And then he was again.
I mean, I don't know. That's just that's a lot of gut punches. No, I need to know, John. Our listeners need to know. What do you wear to the pickleball court? I need to know what your athleisure / athletic outfit is when you do pickleball.
So, typically swim trunks of the very short variety. I have experienced massive weight gain over the past decade and have very few shorts that fit well. And kind of refuse to buy new clothing that isn't swimsuits. I crew a lot of swimsuits because you go places and forget to have packed a swimsuit. So then you purchase a swimsuit. So I have a number of swimsuits. So there's a lot of swimsuits going on. I have my trusty Hokas, and then I have this really is the straw that stirs the drink. Almost always some form of NBA jersey. So yet again, let's go through it.
Short swim trunks.
You're a 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
Playing against a guy who's practically in Speedos.
Hairless. I think it's important.
Hairless, spilling out of a Lakers Irwin M. Fletcher jersey. He or she, and these are difficult times.
Yeah.
Pronouns wise for a 7-year-old man too.
He's trying to be respectful, John.
Being stalked by he or she,
yeah,
who is only trying to hit him.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say this enough. I love pickleball.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
I really got hurt pretty bad. And luckily, some of those weird pseudoscience stretches did help. I feel better today than I did. But I am doing this podcast straight up zero sleep. Like just staying up all
because
night.
you couldn't sleep with that. Yeah, it's impossible. When something hurts, man, you can't. It's so hard to sleep.
And I'm pretty new to back pain too. And wow. But you know, I've got that cool it kind of reminds me of back when I used to drink. You get that you would one of the things that I did love was the hangover where you had like godlike powers, or at least perceived yourself to have godlike powers. Feel extremely hungover. And as a result, I did go back and watch the recording of the game. So I've seen the game, you know, like 1.75 times. And I like those kind of disgusting games. So
I love a disgusting game.
I don't do that thing where people are like, oh, I can't watch this or blah, 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 blah. You know, like that's not me.
I mean, that's I didn't bet this, but apparently like the first half under has hit like 9 straight finals games.
I've been on the under train.
Right. Like I don't, again, I'm a very casual gambler and don't actually follow a lot of the things. Someone also showed me a thing where like it might have ended last night where there'd been a 75 game unbeaten streak where whoever wins the game.
Yeah.
Either covers, like whoever's favored either covers, or if the underdog wins, they win outright. So it's something like,
I don't think that happened though, right?
Yeah, and I think the Nuggets were the first one. They did not cover. That would have
spread was like 8 or 9.
Yeah, that would have ended that 75 game streak. So this is good. I just found out about the streak and luckily did not make it an actionable item and thus did not lose any money in this game. But John, in your suffering, in your back pain, in your post-championship glow, even though you have a very soft spot for the Heat, you had declared whichever team won was going to be your favorite champion of your adult life.
Oh, yeah.
This is easily my favorite champion of my adult life. I just paraded around the baby dungeon. Just couldn't. You couldn't sleep because of pain. I couldn't sleep because of joy. Pure.
You texted me really late.
Yeah.
I sent a text because I want the show to have the best possible reach, etc. So I was like, Keith might be trying to have like Adam Mares or something on tomorrow.
Adam Mares hadn't slept because he's been drinking.
Okay.
Or so partying. I don't know. No, I
hope he's alive. I mean, there was like a shooting.
There was a mass shooting in Denver.
God almighty. Yeah. But I fire off a text, make sure you wanted me to be on it, and you past midnight, like, no, you're all good, man.
No, I said I need you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the championship occurred with a player that we love, a player who's been one of the central characters of our show.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my favorite player not on my team. I'm right. It's been a weird season for me because I would say the other contender for this is Joel Embiid, but we'll get to it. When you really think about it, Jokic is the correct choice in all paths. Like
we did it
on any level.
Yeah,
you should be rooting for Jokic.
No, did I ask you what your breakfast was in your pain, in your misery? What's the breakfast, John?
Klonopin.
Yeah.
No, I'm not taking anything other than ibuprofen, but I think I'm at the tipping point.
I like that. Is that a Georgia ibuprofen? Couple extra R's in there?
Probably.
I love it.
I like spelling ibuprofen is always tough for me because I think there's more R's in there than I think.
Ibuprofen.
Is it just profen? Okay, yeah.
There's just one R, I think. Ibuprofen. I think that's what you said.
I've got 3.
You haven't slept. You announced you hadn't slept.
In there.
So yeah.
There's an extra diphthong, a few schwa sounds.
I loved it. I loved it. Oh man. Yeah, I gotta have a breakfast. I don't even have anything queued for breakfast. I got some leftover pasta. Is breakfast pasta a thing?
No.
I don't think it is.
I mean, that's like some Sopranos stuff, which I'm always into.
That's I'm doing the Tony Soprano, go to the fridge, take out the leftover slice of deli meat, maybe some,
It's nothing like, people used to always say like Breaking Bad, like, oh, this is the first protagonist or antagonist that you really root for. And I'm like, I see nothing likable about Walter White. However, in almost every facet of my life, I'm attempting to be Tony Soprano, except for the whole strangle my nephew and
right. There's a lot. There's a lot of. He's a very likable.
Yeah.
He's affable. Sort of. He's like he's presented as a bad guy, affable, but there are
pathetic in the true sense of the word.
There had been many shows like The Shield or Breaking Bad where like, oh, the main character is a bad guy and I'm cheering for him. It's like, you are?
You just mentioned The Shield and Breaking Bad. Those are my two shows that have changed in estimation most over time, where I just have more and more respect for The Shield, and Breaking Bad has gone less. I don't have anything against Breaking Bad.
I haven't really revisited either. I meant to revisit. Revisiting The Shield is high on my priorities list.
It's awesome. I did it 2 years ago.
I started watching a couple years ago. This is back when I had Hulu with ads and I couldn't take it. I couldn't handle 2 minutes of ads in a 40-minute.
I'm surprised you don't like Hulu with ads, because this is, to me, that's my look at my phone time.
No, I don't like it. Once I start watching the thing, I get freaked out if there's ads. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Like Shea Serrano
I'm sick. I think I'm broken.
Shea Serrano has a new feel good like sitcom. And I know that's not your thing, but man, I will watch a feel good sitcom, a familial.
I like feel good sitcoms.
Dude, if it's a feel good sitcom, however,
I watched Parks and Rec until everybody got married. But
you're saying, dude,
I own multiple Shea Serrano books. I'm rooting for the guy. Do not.
No, I'm telling you, it's on a service that just has ads. There's no way to watch it without ads. I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna watch it, man. I don't 4 minutes of ads.
Good for him. Get paid. Get paid.
Our breakfasts were underwhelming. For that, I apologize. But that leads us right into our breakfast in bed apologies, which is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on a previous episode. John, is there anything you would like to apologize for?
Mike Malone went and pulled a Doc Rivers on us. I have to apologize lengthily to Mike Malone. Not only good, probably great.
Yeah.
Outcoached Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
Hard to do. And didn't just outlast him. I thought outcoached him. I thought he did some like gamesmanship stuff in the press that actually got to Spoelstra.
He also did Spoelstra that D'Angelo Russell thing in the previous round.
Yeah. I think
amazing.
Just kind of a masterclass in like the entire like Red Auerbach in and outside of the game stuff.
Yeah.
Like manipulated the media LeBron style. Like the end game stuff was all good. Absolutely. I was certain we were going to use a croissant query of Drew, our main croissant query, where he kind of was, he was basically going to ask about, do you think they should get rid of Michael Porter Jr. to ride Bruce Brown? And the answer would be no, because Michael Porter Jr. in previous times of the series was the reason they were winning. And Mike Malone just rode the hot hand correctly throughout the series and played the right guys throughout the series. You know, we're talking about Aaron Gordon and people talking about Aaron Gordon being a breakout. Aaron Gordon was pretty much benched against the Lakers for stretches.
Well, I think in each matchup, he was just playing what needed to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe there's a cheat code element of Jokic.
He turned one of the Heat's strongest assets who had been in Strus, rendered him unplayable. Picked on him with matchups. I just thought, Mike Malone played one of the better coaching performances I can remember. I mean, we got two of the best coaching performances head to head. I mean, this series really did have it all in many ways. I would have loved for it to have gone longer. But we'll get to why this also makes me feel good that it ended in this way. But I apologize once and for all. You'll hear no more matches Malone from me.
The Nuggets went 8-1 in the conference finals and finals
against well-coached teams. I thought nobody's Q rating went up as a coach more than Ham's.
Yeah.
Like, but it's people were dogging him, just before the playoffs.
But it's also, I think, extraordinarily important, John, that you did make this apology, because you have criticized Mike Malone
for years,
an incredible amount of times. Like, it's all like anytime we talk about Jokic for the MVP the last 3 years.
He has to carry that albatross of Mike Malone.
You'll throw in a thing because I went back and listened. I was looking for like.
I mean, it's within 10 days.
Like a kudos to me segment. I'm trying to find like some of my greatest hits. Where I was talking about like why can't everyone just say Jokic is the best player, which was something I was like on a show in March. And you were like, and he's having to drag along Mike Malone, one of the worst coaches in the NBA. So it's been fresh, man. You've been dogging him. Here's the Mike Malone thing. Mike Malone still does a thing that I think is idiotic.
Lots of
borderline fireable. I know he just dominated the entire league in the postseason and won a title, but my opinion of the way he handles this one specific thing, I'm like, I might fire the coach if I were the GM. He still will bench Jokic for offense defense possessions at the end of games, and that is just it remains incomprehensible to me. I know there was
Nikola Jokic is empirically awesome at defense.
Yeah. Yes. And
like the numbers have borne out.
The idea you would ever take Jokic off the court for a strategic reason in basketball is,
I mean, I reserve the right to point out that DeAndre Jordan played minutes in the series. I reserve the right. But
I think they were giving everybody a taste, man. They let Reggie Jackson play like 3 minutes. They let DeAndre Jordan. I don't think they let Ish Smith play. Did he get a garbage time maybe once? No, it's also funny where I feel like there's a lot of compliments going on to the Nuggets front office and owner for being like, this is why you stick with the coach. And it's like, all right, maybe they stuck with them because they had belief.
I didn't do this as my worst thing, but Stan Kroenke having all these titles in the past few years is very
maybe Stan Kroenke does get credit because so many of his other teams that he owns have also won titles recently. But like, I'm pretty sure Mike Malone never got fired because Stan Kroenke's not going to pay 2 coaches at the same time. He's not paying to fire a guy. I think they stuck with Mike Malone because the owner's cheap, I think. So
also, once I found out that Mike Malone had a flowing head of hair and just shaved it anyways, I realized
head style.
This man's playing a different game than I am, and I need to shut my mouth.
Yeah. Here's my apology. On the episode with Ben Golliver, I have
8 copies of his book.
They were on sale. What were you supposed to do? They were like, it was on Amazon one day. It was like $1.50.
Those are my gifts.
Yeah. Graduation gifts for ages.
Please tell him I purchased a dozen of his books.
I will. I'll take it up to 20. I poo-pooed his suggestion that the Nuggets should turn over the end of games to Bruce Brown. And the reason I did it was because I'd had that same suggestion earlier in the season. And Adam Mares was like, no. They got to ride with Michael Porter Jr. And Ben was just like, I think end of games now, if Michael Porter Jr. is still shooting 14%, you just got to play Bruce Brown. And lo and behold, the very next game, in game 4, Bruce Brown was a god. They turned away from Michael Porter Jr.
You and Adam Mares are like the same guy, whereas you watched so much Grizzlies that you were like, Dylan Brooks is good. Like you just watched too much. You had too much information. Because I've noticed that Adam Mares, I'm always like, whenever he says about the Nuggets, it's very like invested in the players and invested in the experience he's had of watching so many minutes. And he'll say stuff like that. And it's like, no, dude, no. The medium view is correct here.
Yeah,
you're too in. You're so close. You know, it's like, but I think that's like a legitimate thing that happens, and I feel like it's happened to me before too, where you just you're so into it that you can't see the forest for the trees. But
that makes sense. I mean,
Brown, what a pimp daddy.
I told Ben on the episode, like, I also feel like Bruce Brown should go in, but I've been told maybe there's reasons not to, so maybe that's why. But to Adam's credit, he thought they were the title favorite basically all year. He thought they would have been a title favorite if they were healthy the last couple of years. And they certainly looked to be by far the best team. And now
if you go back to our opening show, this is a team that that I had picked the year before to make the finals. And we all agreed that we just loved their moves. And they basically got rid of all kind of like the loser players.
Although I did think Monte Morris was a quality guy. And
Monte Morris is a loser player.
Oh, that's
like
harsh.
He's one of those guys who's like, he is pretty good. Yeah. And we love to talk about his assistant turnover ratio, but that's not one of the like key guys on an awesome team.
Yeah.
And they traded for guys where it's like I just couldn't think anything better than that trade to Washington. It was like, to me, that was like a statement trade. It's like, yes, those type of players. No to those type of players. Because you watch enough Will Barton and you're just like, no way. Absolutely not. That is not that. When we talk about like the guys you want on your team, guys you don't want on your team, like, and I'm just like, I can't have a Dylan Brooks guy on the team.
Yeah.
I can't have the Will Barton guy on the team. I don't want it. Yeah. So and they just bring in like KCP in this role, perfection.
He wasn't even very good in the finals. Like he had a bad finals.
But I would say so too.
He's still a really good player.
Yeah, and in one of those things, like when he had to hit those free throws late, weren't you just like, he's gonna make them?
Oh, I said so on the playback.
I'm like, yeah.
I was like, well, he's 90%. He also finally hit that big three, I think, to put him up 11, or something. And people are like, oh, that's it.
They just filled themselves with all these like 86 Celtics type guys, like, just like not like Hall of Famer dudes, but just like guys where it's like, oh, that guy's gonna make the right play. Even like their guy who you worry about is Michael Porter Jr., who might be the most talented guy on the team.
Well, and despite Michael Porter Jr.'s struggles, like he was a beast rebounding all series. Where like he hustled, man. Like
his cuts.
Yeah, he was playing
racing other guys.
Yeah. I'd also like to apologize. I had an unfounded worry. This is not basketball related. In my hunt for the loose Lego from that store McKay's outside Nashville, I had this concern, and we talked about it. What if they have a finite supply? What if the Lego's going to run out? And so I should keep going back I've gone back a lot. I went back on Monday, John.
You did it?
No. I think they might have an infinite supply. They keep refilling the bin. And here's I think they've learned
you need something. A relationship at McKay's.
Yeah, I do. But here's the thing, John. This is it's a bin of just single Legos. There's hundreds, tens of thousands. There's so many of them. But I think some of the workers are like, hey, man, why are we disassembling these Lego sets? Let's just let the vultures pick the meat off the carcass and the bone. Like there was just
they're just dropping galleons and
there's just whole sets in there. Yeah. There's this giant, like I was in there on Monday, and there was like 72% of a Batmobile. There was like 38% of a pirate ship. There's like all these things where it's like, man, can you like, when do they fill the bin? Because I think there was like a whole ambulance, a whole police car, and it's like they're just dropping in whole sets now. They're not even taking them apart.
I'm going to use a loathsome term, but here's a life hack.
Yeah.
During my days of caring about things, all the ladies who ran the vintage shops, I pursued not intimate relationships, but relationships with all of them, so that they would call me
when they got something good, and
they would tell me let me use terms that you'll understand. They'd be like, "Hey, man, we got a TIE fighter in."
And you're talking about for clothing.
For clothing. But
you
were
looking for the right vintage, perfect clothing.
And they're going to be like, hey, there is a Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Just came. And you need that because you don't have enough time to go to McKay over and over again.
Yeah, it's a solid 18-minute drive.
But you can take a phone call and you can listen to some, girl's sob story about running a vintage shop for 12 minutes a week. If in exchange you get
just a tip off. Yeah.
The damn ATST. You know what I'm saying?
And I do. I speak that.
You know what I mean, and I think you do.
Yeah. So that I don't know. Yeah. This is. It's a weird thing. Also, where is this now going to be? Right now, it feels free because every bag is $4, and spending that's a cup of coffee for a lot of people. And so it's just like I could spend
half a donut in your neighborhood.
That's what the donuts cost at the place by my house, and so. I can spend $4 to $8 a day. I can afford that, I think.
Man, Speaking of donuts, I feel so bad about not visiting the Donut Divas anymore.
Yeah, I haven't had a
It's been like 2 months.
Yeah, man. Life changes, everything crumbles. Nuggets are world champions. Anyways, those were our apologies. Before we get to our steak and eggs best thing, I gotta remind you to download the brand new official Grind City Media mobile app. Explore new ways to access your favorite Grind City Media content, from your favorite shows and series to news and entertainment. Stay connected with exclusive content at your fingertips with the new Grind City Media mobile app, available in both the Apple and Google Play stores. All right, steak and eggs best thing, John. In the afterglow of the Nuggets winning this title, what is your best thing? Is it Nuggets related? Is it something totally different?
It's Nuggets centric, to say the least. Although it's bigger than that. I think this is the only scenario in which we are going to get a superstar player winning the MVP, being the best player alive, who to me, and perhaps it's a language barrier, cultural misunderstanding, just seems like a normal person. Like, not some like Kevin Garnett, Joel Embiid, driven by success, driven by awards. He just seems like a normal person who seems to really love basketball, and is just happy to be there.
I mean,
this happened to me politically, and I know politics are not fun to talk about, but I did get excited about the chance to vote, although I didn't even get this chance because politics suck. I was excited about the chance to vote for Bernie Sanders because he seemed like a normal human being to me.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen a normal human being in that arena in so long. And then thinking about it today, even Joel Embiid, who I like a whole lot, seems completely obsessed with everything surrounding him. Like, has to win every battle, whether it's like reactions on Twitter, media BS, has to. And Nikola Jokic just seems like a normal, almost like Chauncey Gardner like being, and it just brings me like it's aspirational to me. I would like to be like that.
So this is interesting. This term normal. I mean, in one sense, Jokic is the furthest thing from normal in the entire planet.
Yeah. Perhaps I should. I
mean, I'm with you. Like, his attitude,
the scope of my vocabulary.
Maybe
here.
the fact that he's like he is there. There's an appeal that he has different interests.
Yes, but I feel like he's like, he could be doing. He would put the same. I feel like he would have the same ethic and way of approaching this as he would if he was my car mechanic.
Maybe I'm the best car mechanic in the world.
I'm, like, no one can.
And all I want to do, is go do my hobbies. I just do this for money. Like,
he did not seem to even understand how to celebrate this.
That part was hilarious. So part of it also makes it feel like, is he a
alien being?
Is he an alien being? Is he a Adam Sandler character man-child?
Seeing his brothers and knowing how he could be with the same DNA only enhances and enlightens how unique he is.
Well, it also maybe shows how, like, let's talk about the champagne celebration. If you've seen the video clip of him celebrating with champagne, I mean, in some sense,
he didn't know what to do with his hands.
He is like the most honest person. He's our idiot brother, where he's like the most honest, genuine, naive person. And it was just like, here's a bottle of champagne to shake and spray everywhere. And he's
you say idiot. I say enlightened.
Oh no,
he's like, why would I shake this and
that's
spray
the joke
it? I will drink this.
Maybe that's a spoiler. The movie Our Idiot Brother, the joke
is
the guy's essentially enlightened. He's like cares for people and he cares for himself. And they're like, what's up with this guy? Like, that's
Okay. I hadn't seen that picture.
No, because it was the thing, like, hey, here's a bottle of champagne to shake. And it was one of those, why in the world? All right, fine. All right. Am I done? Like it was like this perfunctory thing I had to do. Because normal people, to go back to your term, to agree with your term, normal people don't celebrate by spraying champagne bottles places. That's a very specific sports celebration that's become a thing. And so he like the thing that seemed childlike to me, or maybe I don't know if it's the right word, but like he wanted to go jump in the pool. He thought it was fun to throw Jamal Murray in like the training pool. And so like he does feel like he has this joy. But then the fact that it goes to like the fact that it's a job, he seemed so bummed out there was a parade and he didn't get to go home. He was like, I thought I got to go home today. And he's like, no, I got to hang around for the parade. And so that part.
You bring up idiot brother. I'll stay with I'll do like Werner Herzog's Strojek or Being There. He's just like not of this realm. And it's just, to me, it's like like my all-time favorite player, Larry Joe Bird, approached it a certain way and seemed like a fairly normal person. But even Larry Bird was like psychotic and and manipulated the press and was unpleasant on the court to
unpleasant teammates. To others. I don't think.
And Nikola Jokic, unless you're a Morris twin,
that's a good
seem like he's the type of guy like unless that way. And the Morris twin thing was kind of like, to me, like Frankenstein's monster throwing the little girl in the pool to see if she could float.
Well,
I don't even think he meant to hurt him.
He was
just trying to send a message.
I think he did try to hurt Markieff Morris, but that was a retaliation for like you hit
dirty
me.
Play.
Yeah, like you caused me pain. Now,
man, I forgot about the Heat Nugs. There was a bit of this was.
But I do think basketball wise, as long as no one shoulders him in the back trying to hurt him, like he doesn't feel like he has that. I'm going to talk trash to the opponent. He just seems like a guy. He's like, yeah, we're all playing basketball. We're all here to do this, and
Yeah, like, one of the most endearing Jokic interactions for me over the course of his career is his like refusing to be sucked into this alpha male, quote unquote, feud that Yusuf Nurkic desperately wants to have with him.
Oh, right. Well, and also refusing to engage in the MVP debate. He's just like,
absolutely.
I don't.
Which, by the way, has a debate ever been so conclusively settled?
We were on the right side of history. That's all I'm saying. Except for you're screaming about Michael Malone.
Look, a millstone.
Millstone. My best thing.
Jokic shrugged.
My best thing. A couple of things. One, I liked how disgusting the game was. I liked that neither team could make 3-pointers. In 2 of the Nuggets' 3 final wins, they made 5 3-pointers. So I like the non-3-pointer teams winning the championship.
For many reasons, yeah.
Yep. Also, unrelated to the finals.
Okay.
This story broke. Jerry West is running his trap. All right.
He gets going.
He likes to say things. Okay.
He does. Yeah.
Now I haven't seen the unedited clip of this. The clip I saw was very obviously chopped together, so much so that it seemed like one of those like fake videos,
Mm-hmm.
But apparently on Paul George's podcast, Jerry West announced that Kobe Bryant talked about coming to the Grizzlies. And Jerry West, while employed as the GM of the Grizzlies, said, hey, man, you don't want to come to Memphis.
Woo!
And that's my best thing. Keep him away, Jerry. Good work. I like what we have. Kobe wasn't for us. Good job, Jerry West. How many GMs throughout history have the Lakers had that didn't actually work for the team, but did work for the team? Both Jerry West and Chris Wallace were building the Lakers roster.
James Jones
seemed like he was helping out the Lakers there for a while. Just Clutch Sports.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts. That's had mixed results.
Kurt Rambis.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin
McHale.
Kevin
did
McHale.
Did he ever help him? Maybe that was just the Boston connection because he gave KG to the Celtics, his old team.
Yeah, he's an
if Michael Heisley, the former Grizzlies owner, were still alive, what legal action could he take against Jerry West now? I feel like he might try to pursue some form of damages.
What would David Stern have done to recompense our Grizzlies?
If you own an NBA basketball team and 20 years after the fact, your former GM says, I told one of the best 5 players in basketball not to sign with our team.
I think that goes beyond tampering into hampering. It seems pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kobe, maybe my least favorite player ever. So
maybe my least favorite
fine.
player ever. There we go. My steak and eggs best thing. Anyways, the opposite of our steak and eggs best thing is our cream of wheat worst thing. What's the worst thing you saw in the last week?
So this is somewhat complicated for me, because the worst thing is like probably happening today we're finally going to get a reckoning with the jaw stuff, but I will say
the John Morant thing is coming down the pipe any moment.
That is like hanging over our heads.
Yeah.
And it's very miserable and kind of honestly, Adam Silver letting us know that it was coming right after the finals ruined the finals for me.
Weirdo behavior.
In many respects. I wish he hadn't done that. I understand that he's keeping various narratives going and there's probably some larger mission behind it, but I also I hated to see Jimmy Butler go out the way that he did, just because I think that people remember endings more than any other part of the story, and they're going to forget a truly historic, heroic, unbelievable playoff run. I hope that people will realize that this is not like the other 8 seed that reached the finals. This isn't a strike-shortened season with myriad injuries on that Knicks team that led to a really strange season. This was a team that was not good.
For a large stretch of the year,
was not good. And a team that was we make a lot of Tyler Hero jokes, but was missing like their second or third best player.
Yeah.
And this was a team where also this absolutely should be remembered. Before Jimmy Butler rolled that ankle, Jimmy Butler was the best player in the playoffs.
Yep.
and we having watched every Jokic game, I still think that like I think you likened it. It was like seeing Michael Jordan again.
Right.
And I hate that he had that turnover.
Yeah. It also looked like
and he had really turned on. He just hit 2 straight threes.
He got the foul.
He goaded an entire officiating system into a follow. But by the way, I think that is their rules. I've seen it called that way all year.
We can hit this. We have a croissant question about this.
Okay, yeah.
We can go ahead and hit it.
I hate it, but yeah, we want to go ahead and do it.
Says he asked this question. Patreon supporter Mike F. Can you believe we almost got a game 6 because Butler kicked Gordon in the balls and earned 3 free throws for it?
Absolutely, I can believe it. I see it all year.
That's
a rule.
That was Jimmy Butler's shooting motion. Jimmy Butler shoots jumpers like that where his foot kicks out. Now, am I sympathetic to outraged fans? Of course. When I overhaul the entire rule book on what is or is not a foul, that clip goes into the list of why in the world is this a defensive foul? Yeah. Because it should be a no call, I think. But I don't think you can overturn it. Like maybe you could, but like the way the rules are written,
no call, yes.
He comes in
the rule.
Butler's, yeah.
And if you review it, you definitely can't overturn it.
In my memory, and maybe this is wrong, every time Reggie Miller shot a jumper, he was looking to kick people, but he also almost never got the call. And like he got hit constantly.
No.
Players back then got
the call
constantly.
He got the call enough that's why he did it.
Right. That's fair. But like back in the 90s, if you shot a jumper and the defender did what Aaron Gordon did, which is basically stand motionless with one arm up and your
Yeah.
feet like kind of hit him. There was never a foul call on that. That was never a foul. So yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, I guess I understand the outrage, but like this is
the outrage is from watching the replay and everyone being like, that should not be a foul, which I agree with you 100%. That should not be a defensive foul. Were 3 free throws in the final moments of NBA Finals game. However, the rules say that's a foul. And so I
definitely was problem. This was a weird series because where I was just essentially for whichever team was behind.
Right. Yeah.
So I will admit that I was rooting for the Heat at the time, but that was in a game, I watched, Nikola Jokic try to take charges under his own basket in this game. I watched Kyle Lowry do a million.
That second foul could have been my worst thing on Jokic, where he did try to draw a charge in the backcourt.
I watched Kyle Lowry limbo his way into attempted murder all series. Like basketball is pretty broken from a rules standpoint. I think it's in a pretty awful place. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know. I don't think the game is in a tipping point where they're even worried about fixing it. Like it's obviously not a
they're
real
not worried
problem.
about fixing it. Yeah.
It's just this is old men screams at clouds type stuff
and clowns.
Yeah. That's what. Anytime I try to use a Simpsons reference, it's going to end up with
I don't know. I know this is a weird rules tangent, but the two Eurobasket games I watched, and I've always in my mind, and maybe it's xenophobia, have assigned like Eurobasket with flopping and like Euro players with like trying to manipulate the refs, and like they brought in the Euro step and the flopping, but like watching the Eurobasket, man, they didn't call any of that stuff. They were like, oh, if you threw yourself into the defender, not a foul. So I don't know if there's something to be learned from that. And maybe that they have written the rules in a way that make more sense. Even the NCAA is addressing the charge problem. Like I believe they're making a new rule is that did I dream this? They said something about like the defender has to be set for a beat before where you can't instantaneously go from playing defense to falling down. Like you have to give the offensive player an opportunity to avoid. That's the rule in the backcourt. Like if you catch a pass, you have to be allowed a chance to change direction. That's why those are always blocks. But under the basket, you basically don't. It's like it's instantaneous. That's another thing for another day. Here's
the only thing I know about charges anymore is if an all-star tries to draw a charge, he's going to get it. That's all I know about charges in the NBA anymore. And that's got to change.
By the way, Jimmy Butler's final 8 playoff games, he was under 40% overall. So that's kind of also 79% from the line in his final 8 playoff games. And he's a 90%.
As a Jimmy Butler follower, I've always like two of my favorite players who are great free throw shooters who I always got worried about when they were shooting free throws late, Jimmy Butler and Marc Gasol.
Oh, interesting. My worst thing is the undrafted player bubble burst. I feel bad. Max Strus was terrible in the series. He played hard.
Yeah.
Everyone
had
gave
one quarter
a good effort. Gabe Vincent was garbage in the final 3 games. Duncan Robinson had some moments, but wasn't really his finest.
We'll always have Duncan Robinson breaking people off the dribble.
It was funny when they got to the finals where all of a sudden Kyle Lowry, who'd been so gross most of the playoffs, is like, I'm good again.
I'm God.
Yeah, you can depend on me. I have you. But we ended up in the finals. Gabe Vincent was 33% on 3-pointers. Duncan Robinson actually finished up with pretty good stats, but they just haunted him relentlessly. Even Caleb Martin had a big letdown of a in the finals. But then
you have all this, but
6 for 32.
You do get I feel like the Christian Brown game was that makes you whole, right?
Well, that's a first round pick right there. That's draft.
Yeah, but that's you're just talking about undrafted guys. Got you.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, the role players for the Nuggets stepped up, although they had a shorter bench. By the way, Max Strus, he finishes 10 for 43 in the finals in the shot clock era, which is since 1955. He now has the second worst finals field goal percentage of all time. I mentioned this in the show with Dave last week. Kyle Korver is the only one with the worst field goal percentage in the finals. In Kyle Korver's 9 career playoff finals games, he shot 22.9%. Here is, John.
Regular season players.
Here is, honestly, this is a collection of names, and I feel like it might be worth mentioning all of them. Here are, John, the 17 players in NBA history to attempt at least 30 field goal attempts in the finals and shoot under 30%.
I'm going to say Kenyon Martin.
This is no. This is cumulative.
Yeah.
Cumulative. Despite Kenyon Martin's what was it? A 3 for 22.
Yeah.
Let's go from 17th to first. Starting with the highest field goal percentage. This guy shot 29.7% in the finals. World be free.
Wow.
Next up, a man named
Jordan
Gary
Brown.
Phillips in 1962 through 1964.
What?
Joe Grabowski.
Okay.
A name we talk about a lot. Grandmama Larry Johnson was 28.6% in his 5 finals games. Speaking of an 8 seed. Matthew Dellavedova, 27.8% in 12 finals games. Next up, championship architect Pat Riley. I see you, Pat Riley, with your 27% shooting in the finals. Next up, Bill Willoughby. Next up, a name I've never read in my entire life. Win Wilfong. Win Wilfong. I'm now going to his basketball reference page. He was a point guard from the University of Memphis.
Can we sponsor him and like give him a nickname?
He was the 4th overall pick in the 1957 draft by the St. Louis Hawks. Next up, Iman Shumpert. Next, a couple of names I don't know. Wayne Hightower and Paul Seymour.
Wayne Hightower, star of Police Academy, I believe.
Now number 6 with a 25.8% field goal percentage in the finals.
Seymour, medicine woman.
Maurice Spates. Mo Spates played in 10 finals games. Career averages of 25.8% from the field. Now we have Guy Rogers, who I believe is a Hall of Famer from the 60s. Now some famous names. Woody Salisbury, Chuck Noble, and our final 2, Max Strus and Kyle Korver. Thank you for allowing me the pleasure of reading names off of Basketball Reference. And I believe those were all of our worst things. Oh, here's another worst thing. This is a big one, actually, John.
Okay.
Conor McGregor broke Bernie's jaw or something.
He broke his jaw?
Oh, he hospitalized him. Maybe I made that up. He hospitalized the Heat mascot, Bernie.
Now, which member of the Bernie cabal is this? Do you know about this?
Are there a lot of Bernies?
There are a group of people, a family, a paterfamilia of people paid $650,000 per year.
Just for the whole family, for all of them?
Apparently so.
Well,
now, is that amazing price tag related to that time that they hung him from the ceiling?
No, you're thinking of Rocky.
Is that hush money? Oh, I am thinking of Rocky.
You're thinking of, so Rocky's the one that gets.
I don't know what Bernie makes. You're right. Yeah, I don't know what Bernie.
That was
makes.
that story that came out that the Denver Nuggets mascot made a ton of money, but it's a whole family. It's a group.
I think Bernie's about to get paid.
So Bernie, gets laid out in a prearranged sketch, if you will, where Conor McGregor.
The skit is so, and the Miami fans rightfully booed. It's very. Cringe.
It's something where they did it to be booed. It is a funny skit because Conor McGregor knocks him out, punches him, and then when he's on the ground, he punches him again
hard,
knowing
look that he hurt his hand.
Now, this is the same Miami Heat franchise where after Dylan Brooks kind of shoved a camera operator, the camera operator said he had to go to the hospital. So I'm a little dubious. But if Bernie did actually have to go to the hospital with legitimate injuries, it makes the clip sickening to watch. Because it's he punches him on the ground when he's prone, just like laying there. When it was like a comedy routine, you're like, oh, that's great. That's funny.
We needed Big John or Herb Dean to step in, stop the fight.
So hopefully, Bernie, one of the great mascots, get better soon. and
Conor McGregor, one of the terrible people of the world.
Sue him for all he's worth.
Yeah, please do.
Go get McGregor.
Get that.
Anyways,
what's that stupid whiskey? Get that 12 Proud Boy or whatever he calls this BS whiskey.
I have no idea.
Nobody does it worse than Conor McGregor.
Those were our worst things. Before we get to our awards segment, we have a couple of listener submitted questions that we have not answered yet. The croissant questioner.
Caleb McNeese asks, Zion keeps soda bottles in his bathroom, apparently. Trump keeps classified docs in his. What do you keep in yours? I guess since I also keep soda bottles in my bathroom, I'll let you go first.
Well, I don't have a great answer for this one. I feel bad. It's an amazing question from Caleb. It's a funny question from Caleb, as Trump and Zion have made news for the contents of their bathrooms. I don't think there's anything weird.
Your bathroom is literally on a pedestal.
It used to be. It used to be. We have since added a pump in the basement. Took out when we bought the house, we had a finished basement, but everything had to be over the sewage line. So there was a toilet that was like 3 feet off the ground. I could not stand over it because I'm too tall. Yeah, that was the throne, a literal throne you had to rise up to. No, I don't think I have anything weird. Here's something weird. I have an unused Harry's shave kit from when they sent us free samples. I don't know if our Harry's promo code still works. I don't even know what it is. Get a free Harry's shave kit valued at $42 or something.
I've been given many versions of this gift that never gets used ever, where it's like some kind of poop spray.
Oh, what is poop spray?
Poopery, or it's like a gag gift.
Poopery, hilarious.
Do you spray it on the poop? Do you spray it after you poop?
Does it
sorry, I keep saying poop.
Is it a gag gift because it smells like poop?
I don't know. I'll never know. Who would use it?
Well, there's an easy way to find out.
I'm not spraying it.
Well, don't spray it inside.
It just goes.
Here's what you do.
In the bathroom as a conversation ender. I don't know.
Go to some place. Go to some public place. Gifts. Although people might think it's like anthrax or something.
I'm not spraying anything anywhere. You might end up like Bernie.
Yeah,
kind of
you might end up in Gitmo or something. I don't. Man, I wish I had a better answer. I can't. My bathroom is just it has bathroom stuff. There's no books. All right, let's move on. Next question.
Asks, what middle of the pack team should just blow it up and go full rebuild next week at the draft?
Is it cheating to say the team with the third pick, the Blazers? You have the third pick.
Are they middle of the pack?
I mean, what's middle of the pack? 20 teams make the playoffs.
Portland, they lost a lot of games
on purpose.
I don't think we can say Portland.
So first of all, define for me what's middle of the pack. Then
let's cut it off with the let's do since two teams won two teams in the exact same spot. The 10th team each won 40 games in each conference. So let's say that's the middle of the pack.
The Heat won 44. Can they blow it up? I mean,
well, I think in the West, the 10th team Thunder don't need to. I would say the 10th team in the East, I would say, is the strongest candidate, which is the Bulls.
Well, I mean, the Bulls is what are you going to do? There's no clear blow up path.
Answer,
yeah. I mean, honestly,
I guess we're supposed to say Hawks here.
One of the jokes, I think one of the jokes for a lot of people is every time a team gets eliminated in the playoffs, like Kevin O'Connor comes out with a blow up the team like article.
Poor Raptors.
And it's just like, there's no clear blow ups for all these things. To blow up a team, you got to have a buyer. Like to sell off all your assets, you got to have someone willing to give you worthwhile assets. There's no clear cut like, hey, are 2 picks in the 20s better than having a good player? Not normally. They give you hope. You can package hope, but I don't know. Like,
what about Toronto?
Well,
Toronto feels like you could do a serious makeover.
Yeah,
like there's assets.
By the way, congrats, Darko Rajkovic, the Grizzlies assistant, being named Raptors head coach. I was surprised, honestly, but
very surprised.
Good for him. He has a great record on player development. He's given a lot of credit for development of Desmond Bain and Santi Aldama and D'Anthony Melton and other lower draft pedigree guys. So, yeah, the Raptors are a good one, but they like Fred VanVleet opted out and he's moving on. They missed their chance to trade him when they could have gotten a lot for him. You
think Nick Nurse going to get his guy?
Maybe, yeah. I think Gary Trent, I assume, is going to opt out. Like, you missed a chance to trade him at the trade deadline. You probably could have gotten something for him. And then Pascal and OG, you know, could you trade Pascal for the third pick? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I still maintain the Trailblazers should use the third pick. The whole point is to get a guy you can have for 10 years. And trading to get a guy who's already making max money, like a Brandon Ingram, they're talking about maybe even trading for Zion. I don't know. But like trading for a guy who's already making max money, if you're going to keep Damian Lillard, who's going to make $60 million in a couple of years, it's going to be very, very hard to build a team that's any good. So yeah, like, I mean, Blazers, you say, aren't middle of the pack. If you could get something, I mean, it's messed up that the CBA has basically forced the hand where I don't even think it makes sense to keep Damian Lillard anymore if you're the Trailblazers. Did CJ McCollum, as a Players Association president, do that on purpose to force the Trailblazers to move on from Damian Lillard? Is it a Harry and the Henderson situation with John Lithgow punching Harry in the face saying you have to go into the woods?
Go into the woods.
You have to leave.
Sacrifice.
I don't think the pure blow it up option makes a ton of sense for a lot of teams. I think it's interesting to wonder which teams are going to pivot too soon. Like, will the Jazz pivot too soon into trying to be like competitive? Well, like the Pacers. I think the Pacers are one of the most interesting teams. And again, maybe they're not middle of the pack. I think a middle of the pack is like bottom third of the pack or something, because middle of the pack teams make the playoffs. And I think the Heat have proven that anything can happen. The fact that the Lakers and the Heat picked 17th and 18th in the draft, and those might have been the second and third best teams in the playoffs, it's kind of wild. So I don't know. I mean, what's your thought? I know you hate Buddy Hield, but what's your thought on where the Pacers are? I need to get Caitlin Cooper on here to talk about the Pacers, because like they have Halliburton. Miles Turner seemed to step up big time. They got Benny Mathurin.
I think the Pacers will be bad for a long time.
But I mean, they have stuff they could do. No one has to be bad for a long time. That's the way the NBA system is. Normally, if you're bad for a long time, you're either incompetent. I guess you could be incredibly unlucky, or you're purposefully choosing to lose.
They have a lot of assets, but they want to cultivate these, right?
I don't know.
Not flip them.
I mean, they have the 7th pick. They're going to get somebody maybe who turns out really, really good. I don't know. It's like I don't have a great answer to the question. Like the Wizards can't blow it up. I don't think. I think Beal's value plummeted even more, and he has a no trade clause with the new CBA. They have free agents in Kyle Kuzma and if Kristaps opts out, so they're a mess. I mean, Dallas ain't blowing anything up, not on purpose.
It's a weird question because, like, there's not an answer here because the teams that should blow it up can't.
Well, eventually we've had also teams spend their assets. Teams are running out of picks and other teams are hoarding them. So unless the Jazz, Thunder, or Pelicans want your player, like no one's trading for Zach LaVine. No one's trading you 2 first-round picks for Brad Beal or DeMar DeRozan, or like there's a scarcity of teams that, like, the Hawks already traded a couple picks. Maybe the Hawks are the team.
I mean, that's what I brought up.
Literally,
I think that's what he's trying to push us.
Detonate the Hawks?
Because you could like, there's moves to be made.
All right. We got
I don't think anyone's doing this team was in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Not anymore.
That's not the argument made any longer.
All right, we got there. Congratulations. The answer is the Atlanta Hawks. Anyways, thanks for the question. If you want your question answered on air, you have to become a Patreon supporter. Do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Also, if you're a Patreon supporter, you get to play in some of our mini games, like the Stone Cold Locks Playoff Challenge. Congratulations, Cam, for winning the whole shebang.
In dramatic fashion.
In dramatic fashion.
He walk off. Yeah.
He did not risk. He did pick Nuggets in 5, but he did not risk any of his points because he had a significant lead. There was a furious rally from Ham Sinky, who not only picked Nuggets in 5, he gambled his picks by locking it. He also took a mild risk in picking Jokic as MVP. He got a full 15 points, and it brought him within 1 of Cam. I thought maybe Cam did some math and realized if someone hits the full Yahtzee, gambles all their points, they could get within 1 of me. As long as I pick Nuggets in 5, I'm good. Cam said he just didn't pick an MVP to be funny. I don't know. But congratulations, Cam, who wins a
people named Cam or children of whimsy, I think.
Yeah. He wins a gift certificate to the NBA store. He also might win the cash prize. I did not check to see if he's one of those who bought in with the optional cash prize.
Just give it to him.
Who cares? Anyways, thanks everybody for playing in that. Keep your eyes peeled for the next free agency and trade game, which will be dropping shortly after the draft. So if you want to support our show, again, get involved with the games, join our Slack, do all of that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. It is now time for the awards segment of the program, the International Stack House of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performer in a box score. This week, we had a few finals games to deal with. We have several honorable mentions. Gabe Vincent, 1 for 6. Gabe Vincent, 2 for 10. Bruce Brown, 4 for 14. Bam Adebayo, 7 for 21. We have 3 nominees. In game 4, Jamal Murray was 5 for 17. He had 15 points. He had 12 assists and 0 turnovers. That's impressive. Had 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 foul. In game 5, Gabe Vincent, 3 for 13, 6 points, 3 assists, no rebounds, 1 steal, no turnovers, 2 personal fouls. And then game 5, Jimmy Butler, 5 for 18. There was a exciting flurry late. We scored 11 straight points, but he was 5 for 18, had 21 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls. So, John, we have
big turnover.
Well, the 1 turnover was loud and noticeable, but of course that is inadmissible. Purely, what do the numbers say? We have Jamal Murray. We're picking between Jamal Murray, 5 for 17, 15 points, 12 assists, no turnovers. Gabe Vincent, 3 for 13, 6 points, 3 assists. Jimmy Butler, 5 for 18, 21 points, 5 assists, 3 steals. I don't think it's Jamal.
Hard to give it to a guy who averaged 20 and 10 over a finals, which has only been done like 5 times.
Yeah, it's like Magic Johnson.
I think it's Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, I think it's Gabe Vincent too.
As much as loud as you alluded to that 1 turnover, it in the end was only 1 turnover. By the way, Jamal Murray never turned the ball over. It felt like in this play.
He actually had a lot. I mean, in really? This game, but he.
Yeah, but until then, like he had games where they were really after him and he had like 0. So
no,
really impressive. A great number 2 guy to have.
Yep,
Jamal Murray.
So the list of players who are who averaged 20 and 10 in the finals. 1 second. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Jamal Murray. By the way, that Aaron Gordon trade. The Aaron Gordon trade to the between the Magic and the Nuggets.
The whole joke's you did it.
Get Gary Harris and RJ Hampton and like a first, you know.
You could have stopped after, by the way, the Aaron Gordon trade.
Yeah. That certainly works out. Congratulations, Gabe Vincent, on your iShop. Congratulations again on your championship. Kudos to me, John. In honor of Dylan Brooks stringing together 5 assists in a single game. Kudos to me. What is something you would like to pat yourself on the back for? We already made fun of you and you apologize for your Michael Malone thing. What's a kudos to me? What's something you got right you'd like to be recognized for?
Hey, we did it, man.
We did it.
When you look at the incredibly physically fit Miami Heat players, hands on their knees, gasping for air in a game 5, tell me that the Nuggets securing home court advantage didn't matter. The regular season mattered.
Oh, the regular season mattered. Yay, we don't just shut it down.
we got there.
We were going to have more teams aiming for the 17th pick and an NBA title, trying to thread that needle, finishing in 8th in their conference, 7th in their conference. Yeah,
when you can start a fat guy and dominate just because you run him out in Denver, Mile High City, all year long. Come on now.
I'd like to kudos to me once again for being very early on Jokic. I have tweets from 2016 talking about how it's dumb Jokic only played 7 minutes in this game. Like how he's dominating.
Look, I had a Jokic shirt made. So I'm claiming
you did
stake as well.
I've got one where he's like, here's the last 5 games. He's only averaging 22 minutes, but here's his plus minus. I have one where he's like, oh yeah, the Nuggets won the 14 minutes Jokic played by 10 and the game they lost by 22. Yeah, I was early. Also, I'd like to do an opposite of a kudos to me, which is I'm a great big
Budos?
I'm a great big stupid guy. A week after I talked about how my bookie is just a dirty, no good gambling site.
I believe you poked the bear. We call it.
No. So I left, but I left a little walking around money in there, just to play or just to goof around. I took out most of my roll, but like I left some in there, and I placed 2 bets, on game 5. One, I took Michael Porter Jr. over 11.5 points.
Oopsie.
That cashed. He scored a lot.
Oh, good.
I also bet.
I thought you said
Tyler,
game 4.
Game 5. Sorry. I also bet Tyler Hero under 6.5 points. So you're doing the McGregor
Bushwhacker walk.
The Bushwhacker walk, but guess what?
The Vince McMahon, no chance.
No. Yeah. Guess what? My bookie said, no, that's a loser.
Because he didn't play?
Actually, it's a push.
Oh. That's
The line was 6.5 points, which implies he might not play.
Wow.
They just said push. You don't get to win that bet. I bet $2 million.
The criminals are who you want to make wagers with. The outright criminals. Look them in the eye. The criminals you can't look in the eye. You can't get your money back from.
I mean, a week after talking about how my bookie was just they can just not honor a bet by saying like, oh yeah, it's a display error.
If you can't ask your bookie, if you can't ask your bookie for one more week, that's not your bookie. That's not even your friend.
Well said. Parfait away, John. What thing are you looking forward to? This season's draft, baby. There's a guy on UCLA. I think his name is Gravis Vasquez. No, Jacquez. Something like that. He sounds pretty cool.
Johnny Juzang.
He sounds pretty cool. I got this Marcus Sasser guy circled. I'm hoping a Leonard Miller fall. Awesome. I'm starting to watch my mock draft. Starting to
Leonard Miller. Just as soon as Leonard Miller joins your team gets more mature.
Just the name.
Just the name Leonard Miller.
Yeah, it sounds like an old guy.
That's like a Winston Zedmore name.
Yeah, I mean it sounds like an author.
You just added the Black Ghostbuster. Your team is cooler and
Elmore Leonard and Arthur Miller and
if you add Elmore Leonard, your team becomes City Primeval.
Yeah, well played.
Good commercials for us this year.
I've been avoiding my commercials. I've been avoiding my justified spoilers.
There's no spoilers.
You know how I brought myself down from my championship buzz where I'm like I gotta go to bed. Mm-hmm. I was watching some season 3 Justified, just trying to.
Which season is that? Michael T. Williamson.
Yeah, Michael T. Williamson. Pretty good. Neil McDonough's in it a good bit. It's a great one.
I've met Neil McDonough.
Yeah, you told me. No, it's fine. It was a great off-air story. We will have, by the way, for the draft, we will have a playback. Also, John, I think
who would win in a staring competition, Neil McDonough or John Goebel?
That's a great. That's a good one.
Different kind of stairs.
Also, John, we got to do some more. I know I'm going to do some Grizzlies rewatches on playback.
Wow.
We can watch some classic games. Of course, by the way, for US viewers, the playback NBA Finals blackout, of course, is over. So you don't have to do any more blackouts anymore. Also, we can do YouTube rabbit holes, maybe a little 10 a.m. Jon and Keith explore the internet, we'll get involved with that.
Why not?
More over at playback.tv/fast break breakfast. Anyways, that's the show. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can support the program by going to patreon.com/fast break breakfast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channels. Also subscribe to the Grits and Grinds YouTube channel. I dropped a season in review highlight show. A lot of work. Please watch it. It would mean a lot to me. Anyways, follow Jon on Twitter at Master John Burr. You can follow main account at Fast Break Break. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Dalvidenia, everybody.